Now, much of the world is win-lose. Competitive athletics, competition in the marketplace. You think competitively. So it has its proper place. But if you're dealing with interdependency, if you're dealing with teamwork, if you're dealing with where you need to be cooperative, you've got to think win-win. Most people see life like a piece of pie. There's only so much. So that if you get a hunk of it that's bigger, that means I have less. If you get more profit, I have less. If you get the recognition, I don't get it. See, that's called the concept of scarcity. Abundance is where you see the pie getting larger and larger and larger. When you get the win-win spirit, the win-win attitude, and learn the skills of win-win, which are associated with habits 4, 5, and 6, what happens is you start to discover pragmatically for yourself the pie does get larger. Most people grow up with a comparison-based identity because they were compared in their own childhood. Then in school, then in athletics, in almost every dimension of life, we live with comparisons. And we learn the values of those. Those are scripts. That's actually scripting. The ability to re-script yourself is a unique capacity animals do not possess. And any person, at any time in their life, regardless of how deep those scripts are, it's tough. It's not easy. It takes patience, persistence, and courage. But they can reinvent themselves. You want to come up and help me a minute? Ron, have never lost an arm wrestle. And I don't intend to now. You're either going to be down there or I'm going to be down there. If he puts me down here, he gets the dime. Okay? And if I put you down here, that means you give me the dime. Fair enough? You tell us when to start. Give us 15 seconds. All right? Now, if he happens to put me down twice, he gets 2 dimes. So keep track of how many times he puts me down or I put him down. Okay. Give each other the intimidating stare. It's faster if we both win.
Yes, I
see. The essence of win-win from an emotional standpoint is that you are sufficiently independent emotionally that you can be both kind and courageous at the same time. That's the essence of maturity. You can be kind, but if you lack courage, you're going to go for lose-win. You'll capitulate. You'll give in. You'll be permissive and soft. People will exploit you, run all over you, take advantage of you. Or, let's say that you're full of yourself, how right you are, you're courageous, you're firm, you're strong, but you lack any empathy, any consideration, any kindness for others. So you push for win-lose. I had this guy come to me, and he said, Stephen, I really tried to practice what you were teaching. And I'm telling you, they took me to the cleaners. It just did not work. I said, well, why didn't you go for lose-win? He said, I didn't. I went for win-win. I thought you said they took you to the cleaners. Yeah, they did. In other words, you lost, and they won. What's that called? He thought for a moment, and all of a sudden, like lights came on. Lose-win, I guess. Exactly. So you have to really pay a greater price to learn this attitude and this skill.
So the first practice of having members serve.
Too often, we listen to others with the intent to reply. Empathic listening is an altogether different way of being. It is listening with the intent to understand, with the intent to get to the bottom of an issue. It's one of the most important habits any leader can practice. It's the key to effective results in interpersonal relationships, in teams, and in organizations. When we listen empathically, we try to understand the other's point of view with no judgment, with no preconceived end in mind. We simply seek to understand. we temporarily suspend our view long enough to see the world through their eyes. Only people who are secure enough with themselves, those with a firm grasp of the private victory, have the capacity to listen in this way. It's important to note that empathic listening is not about agreeing or disagreeing. It's not about solving or fixing or figuring someone out. It's simply about understanding another's point of view and feelings. Watch what happens when you listen with the sole intent to understand.
Doing your homework?
What's the point? I'll never use it.
Sounds like you're frustrated.
I'm just sick of school. It's pointless. I mean, look at Joe. Dropped out of school, has a full-time job, has his own car, his own apartment, and I'm stuck here trying to decipher some ancient Greek play no one even cares about.
So you think Joe's got it better?
I mean, Joe's always bragging about how much better his life is now that he doesn't have to worry about. Teachers bossing him around or everyone telling him what to do.
Joe's got a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I mean, at least he's doing something. He has to work late nights so he can't hang out with us as much or go to the games. But at least he's going somewhere.
So he's missing out on a lot, but at least he's moving forward.
I just can't get this stuff. Dad's gonna kill me. You won't tell him, will you?
You're worried about what Dad'll think?
It's just he always talks about how education is important and how he expects me to go to college, but how can I do that if I can't do this?
So you're worried that if you don't understand this, then you won't get it in college either.
I know I can't. They gave me a reading test, right? On the reading test, I scored on the 9th grade level, Mom. The 9th grade. I'm a senior.
And that worried you?
No matter what I do, I just don't get it. And I know Dad will know that I'm flunking out. I don't want to quit school, but I don't know any way out.
You don't want to drop out of school, and you don't want to disappoint Dad.
So what will I do?
Empathic listening, and I tell you,
I'm not sure.
it's a difficult skill to
But I'm trying to figure things out.
But after you learn it, it makes a big difference in how you work with other people.
The thing that gets in the way of meaningful communication is autobiographical listening. This means that we filter what others say through our own story, our own experiences, our biases, prejudices, and all of our values. You see, when I listen autobiographically, part of my story gets added to your story. And then when I respond, I base it on my own frame of reference. I might ask questions, or I might agree or disagree. I might decide it's necessary to counsel you, or try to solve the problem or fix the situation. So with the best of intentions, I can end up leading the conversation. And even worse, I don't hear what you're really trying to say. Autobiographical responses fall into 4 categories. Probing, asking questions. Evaluating, like agreeing or disagreeing. Advising, that is giving counsel. Or interpreting, or trying to figure a person out or to analyze them. But don't misunderstand. Autobiographical responses can be very appropriate, especially when the emotional bank account with another person is high. But when real understanding and clarity are needed, and when the problems are very emotional, autobiographical responses only get in the way. Watch the impact of autobiographical responses in the next segment.
Doing your homework?
What's the point? I'll never use it.
Of course you will.
Classical Greek drama. Not likely.
No one gets anywhere without an education these days.
Really? Joe's got a full-time job and he's already a manager. He has his own car, his own apartment. And me? I'm not that interested in this.
But you're interested in this?
Absolutely. I just think it's a waste of time to learn something you'll never use in the real world. When I could be out working, getting a real experience, making money.
So, you want to quit? Think about your sister. She struggled in school, but she worked hard, and now
she's the queen of college and probably become a brain surgeon and end global warming. Not my sister, Mom.
I know it's hard right now, but all the effort will be worth it. When I was your age,
I wanted to join a rock band and travel the world, but instead, you chose hard work and all this.
You just have to hang in there.
No, I don't.
Video that we saw.
Fine.
There were a few
Quit.
by interpreting.
Move in with Joe. You think life is so wonderful, so easy?
When we are doing
maybe then you'd appreciate what you have here.
Fine, maybe I will.
So basically, what happens is when, and in this case, when the son talks to the mother, she is just asking more questions. She is evaluating his response.
Me llamo Juan Manuel Chávez, más conocido como Baby. Tengo 19 años y toco el cello. Este cello está hecho de una lata de aceite y las clavijas son de una vieja cuchara para golpear la carne y para hacer el ñoquis. Y suena así.
Débora es vista como un lugar donde se tira toda la basura, donde hay un mal olor, donde hay mucha suciedad.
La familia que acá vive recicla todo lo que hay en la basura y se vende.
Yo llegué a Cateura para trabajar en un proyecto de reciclado de basura. Los recicladores se dieron cuenta que yo también era músico. Hizo surgir un deseo en estas personas que yo enseñe música a sus hijos. Una comunidad como Cateura no es un lugar para tener un violín. De hecho, un violín cuesta más que su casa. Fue la idea de Cola de hacer instrumentos con los materiales que estuviesen a mano. El material que más hay en Cateura es la basura.
dos maderas lindos para servir para mi alma de cello y contrabajo y violín. El primer violín era un volador de video de aluminio y el mango tenía tacuara. Y poner la cuerda a Fabio y empieza a tocar.
Y eso fue un continuo probar y probar y probar. Nunca nos hubiésemos imaginado que ese primer violín sería el inicio de todo un proceso que se transformó luego en una orquesta. 1, 2, 3 y... Fue muy importante la participación de varias personas, cada una desde su cualidad, de su visión, desde su experiencia, desde sus habilidades. Sin ese tipo de aporte, esta orquesta no sería lo que es hoy.
La música para mí significa todo. Sin la música estaría por ahí. Cuando yo escucho el sonido del violín siento como mariposas en el estómago, así una sensación, no sé cómo voy a explicar.
El director me dijo para poder enseñarle a algunos niños en Cateura, no tengo otra opción que ayudarle a esta comunidad, porque es algo que con el tiempo puede cambiar muchas cosas.
Hoy en día hay 160 niños que están aprendiendo música.
Está cambiando totalmente a la comunidad y a la gente, pero para bien, muy positivo. Ellos sienten de que tienen el apoyo total de papá y mamá.
Creo que mis padres se sacrifican por mí y por mi hermana, porque ellos quieren que nosotros salgamos adelante y hacer las cosas que ellos no pudieron hacer cuando eran más chicos.
Yo cuando voy a Cateura, la gente dice, ¿te vas a Cateura donde está la basura? Y yo le digo, no, me voy a Cateura donde está la gente, donde están los niños que quieren aprender. La gente se da cuenta que no tenemos que tirar la basura muy fácilmente y no tenemos que desechar a las personas muy fácilmente.
Life can be tough. It can test us, it can stretch us, even push us to our breaking point and sometimes beyond. With all of the demands that we have to juggle, it is easy to become imbalanced, stressed out, or to even feel empty inside. And if we don't take the time every day for renewal, we simply won't have the capacity. We won't have the strength or the energy or the insight to deal with life's challenges. Trying to live without renewing ourselves each day is like trying to cut a piece of wood with a dull saw. You can't do it. To gain the power you need to face life's challenges, you must make time each day to sharpen the saw. Habit 7 surrounds all the other habits because, simply put, it's the habit that makes all the other habits possible. It's about preserving and enhancing the single greatest asset you have, you. It means regularly renewing and strengthening the 4 key dimensions of your life: your body, your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Let's start with the body. Body represents our physical energy and our capacity to do things. We can keep ourselves sharp in this area through regular exercise, through good nutrition, proper rest, and of course finding time to relax. Mind represents our mental sharpness, our ability to think clearly and to make good decisions. We renew ourselves in this area through continuous learning, writing, reading, as well as planning and organizing, so our minds are not cluttered and we get very clear on what needs to get done. Heart represents the quality of our relationships. We can sharpen our saw in this area by taking time for people, by taking time to build and to strengthen and to sometimes repair our most important relationships. In other words, by making daily deposits into the emotional bank accounts of other people. And finally, spirit. Spirit represents that inner self that exists far beneath the surface of your everyday self. It represents your center, your deepest convictions and your values, your source of purpose and meaning. We can renew ourselves in this area in many ways, such as spending time in nature or meditation, listening to inspiring music, thinking deeply on our mission and our values, religious worship, or meaningful service. Sharpening the saw each day in the physical, the mental, the social, and the spiritual dimensions is a practice we call the daily private victory. I recently had an experience that tested my commitment to my own daily private victory. That morning, my alarm sounded. Usually I get up and exercise, plan, get ready for the day. But I was up late the night before and I was so tired. And I thought to myself, I don't have time today to sharpen the saw. But as I was lying there, I could hear my father's voice in the back of my head saying like he always said, Sean, have you ever been too busy driving to take time to get gas? So I got up and I went down to my basement. I exercised. Immediately after exercising, I sat on my couch in the basement and I read inspiring literature for a few minutes. I then took time to plan my day. I started by looking at my mission statement. And then I reviewed each of my roles and the key goals and things I wanted to accomplish for each role. I got really clear on the few things I had to get done that day. It gave me perspective. As I continued planning, I also realized that I needed to apologize to my wife for something I'd said the night before. So I finished my planning and I went back upstairs. The whole routine only took about 45 minutes. After getting ready for the day, I went to my wife and I apologized. It turned out I really needed to. And she let me know that. However, it made a huge difference in how we both felt as we started the day. And as I walked out the door for work, I felt refreshed. My most important relationships were in order, and I had a very clear view of the day ahead. As it turned out, my private victory that morning helped me in so many ways throughout the day. I had to make a number of very pivotal decisions that day, and I felt this great sense of wisdom and judgment to help me. But it could have gone the other way. I could have stayed in bed and rushed through the morning and missed the opportunity to invest in my own capability to live that day well. I highly recommend this simple practice of sharpening the saw by spending time every day having your own daily private victory. Find a routine and a time that works for you. It will affect every decision and every relationship. It will greatly improve the quality of every other hour of the day, including the depth and the restfulness of your sleep. And it will build the long-term physical, mental, and spiritual strength that we all need to handle these challenges in life. So commit now to winning your own daily private victory. Even when it's hard, even when you don't have time or don't feel like it, and even when you don't want to wake up, it will make all the difference.